Business dining. Think people aren't watching you handle yourself at the dinner table? Think again. Whether you're dining with a recruiter, prospective business partner, or your boss of several years, you should always follow the rules of proper dinner etiquette. There's a reason people conduct business over a meal. It's a strategic way to get to know someone. How you behave before, during, and after the meal tells your host a lot about your character, your professionalism, and your social awareness. When it comes to business dining, there are a lot of little tidbits to remember. Which bread plate is yours? What should you order to drink? How do you get rid of that pesky ketchup stain? Don't worry, we're here to help. Follow this business etiquette tips so you can make a great impression at your next business dinner. Note, this is a roundup of common business etiquette tips, but be mindful that there are places in the world where some of these tips don't hold true. If you're dining in a country that uses etiquette you're unfamiliar with, take the time to look up the etiquette for that specific country, or ask a friend or colleague ahead of time. Before the meal, eat a little something ahead of time. You may be going to an awesome restaurant with delicious food, but that doesn't mean you should show up super hungry. If you do, you risk focusing more on your food than on the conversation. Have a little snack before you head to dinner, like a protein bar, a piece of fruit, or some cheese and crackers. 2. Dress appropriately. I wish there were a simple answer to the question of what to wear, but it really does depend on the context. As with any work event, the culture of the company or industry hosting the dinner should be your first clue. Is your host from a financial firm? Lean toward the formal side of business casual. Meeting with someone from a tech startup that tends to be a little more casual? Stick to business casual, but relax your look a bit. Another clue is the dinner venue. Look up the restaurant's website ahead of time and see what vibe you get. And when in doubt, overdressing is better than underdressing. 3. Silence your cell phone. This should be a no-brainer. Keep in mind a vibrating phone is as bad as a ringing one. Turn it on silent, put it away, and don't take it out while in the presence of your host. 4. Plan to arrive on time. Plan your travel well in advance so you're sure to arrive on time, or even a little bit early, just to be safe. If you're going to be late, hey, it happens. Be sure to call your host and/or the restaurant to let them know. If your host is late, wait at least 15 minutes before checking in on them. On arrival, 5. Shake hands with everyone. Greet everyone with a firm handshake accompanied by good eye contact, and introduce yourself to anyone you don't know. Concentrate on remembering people's names, especially the hosts, as you'll need to remember it to thank them later. 6. Store your stuff under your chair. It's always awkward trying to figure out where to stuff your bag, sunglasses, cell phone, or briefcase. The number one rule here is to not place anything on the table, no matter how small it is. The proper place for your bags are either under your chair or wedged between your back and the back of the chair. Place your coat on a nearby coat hook, over the back of your chair, or under your chair with the rest of your belongings. 7. Wait to sit until your host sits first. In many countries, it's polite to remain standing until your host has taken their seat. If there isn't a host, then wait for the most senior or oldest person at the table to sit first. Note, in some countries, the host never sits before the guests, so try to figure out what the proper etiquette is beforehand if you're dining in an unfamiliar country. 8. Place your napkin in your lap right away. As soon as you sit down, take your napkin off the table, unfold it, and put it on your lap with the open end of the fold facing away from you. Never, ever tuck your napkin into the front of your shirt. Speaking of napkin etiquette, if you have to leave the table at any point during your meal, place your napkin on your empty chair instead of on the table in front of you. This tells the server that you plan to return. 9. Familiarize yourself with the place settings. For the vast majority of meals, you'll probably just be dealing with a fork, knife, and a spoon. But for the occasional fancy dinner, there's a chance you'll see a few more pieces, and it's best to be prepared. We will discuss this in detail in our next lesson.